ESPN Kansas City is KCTE Independence and K257DZ Kansas City 99.3 FM.
Toxic? Not quite. Edgy? Maybe. Passionate? Ain't no doubt about it.
Hold on. What?
You gotta be kidding me!
You kidding me?
The guy is drunk, but there he goes.
Something is wrong with you!
Oh no! No!
He was safe at
No! No!
You're killing me, Smalls!
This is Radioactive Sports with Justin Pemberton.
Oh, geez, is it showtime? Wow, I'm late. Welcome to the show, everybody. I thought for a moment I was Phil Jackson for a moment, but nah, I didn't sleep during someone's workout apparently. Well, welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome. This is Radioactive Sports. Justin Perrin here, just doing a little, making fun of Phil Jackson a little bit. Yes, apparently he decided to fall asleep during somebody's workout during the NBA Combine or before the draft. Poor Knicks. But we got a good show for you guys lined up for today here on either 99.3 FM or 1510 AM. I am glad to have two gentlemen back here again on this Saturday morning inside the 1510 studios. Jim Grundy, the former host of Prime Time, the Grundy Hour. And then, of course, the current host of My Two Cents, a podcast on SoundCloud.com, Mr. Patrick Hennessy. Not Patrick Wellborn, but Hennessy.
Thank God I'm not him.
Hey, you leave that to me, all right?
Whatever.
Squeak, squeakity, squeak, squeaker.
How's it going, guys?
Good about you.
You know, I missed our exit meeting last week. I was worried you were going to trade me, but then the New York media got into it, so it looks like I'm still here for now.
Yeah, blame on New York. That's a good way to go. And, you know, they have so many issues. I don't know what are they ever going to be fixed at all, the Knicks? I think just at this point, they're going rock bottom from here.
Well, you see, there's 3 points to everything that Phil Jackson does, but it's hip to be square. And it's also around basketball. So clearly it's a shapes issue here in New York. I mean, I feel like everything that Phil Jackson does just revolves around some sort of triangle.
Yeah.
And for anybody who likes any other shape, it just probably won't work out. So maybe Porzingis just showed up one day with like a square on a shirt or something. Maybe he's just like, I'm not a big fan of corners. And so that's when Phil Jackson was like, nope, this isn't going to work out. This just isn't going to work out.
All right, so for the show for today here on Radioactive Sports, we're going to be talking about some big news at One Arrowhead Drive. The Chiefs extend Andy Reid, but then about 45 minutes later, 2 days ago, they decide to part ways with GM John Dorsey. What's up with that? Do not understand that. There's a lot of speculation, and we're going to make that into not just one segment about that, but we're going to do a bonus segment later for the podcast, and we're going to come back and discuss on what may have transpired to why Dorsey left. There's many reasons why.
Jeez.
There might be many reasons why. We don't know what those reasons are, Justin. But we can wildly speculate and get rumors going.
Wisconsin cheese.
We can rule out one factor, though. It had nothing to do with Mahomes.
No.
Because you don't make that kind of move.
Hold up. Are we just going to let you bring up Wisconsin cheese and we're not going to start a fight here?
No, I'm saying he couldn't go back to Green Bay. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, like,
that
is fighting words?
That is one factor.
You do not talk about cheese curds that way. They are fantastic, and if you go to the right gas station, you can find the best ones.
Then we're having a lot of fun in the next segment after this one, and we're going to break down the Royals and the AL Central. I mean, you ask me.
They don't suck anymore.
No, but the AL Central sure does, though.
Yeah, you're not wrong there.
And they're the reason why the Royals are back in this, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give the Royals credit, too. They're back in themselves, but the AL Central, let's be fair and honest.
That gives them a whole lot of room,
The AL
though.
Central is a turd, and they're the reasons why the Royals are back in this thing.
It's survival of the fittest. You don't have to be the fastest
Because
person.
the Twins,
You just have to be
who
faster
you
than the
keep
slowest
giving me
person.
crap about every time, the Twins are coming back down to earth. The White Sox suck. The Tigers are old as dirt. And the Indians, well, they're probably starting to finally wake up, thanks to the Twins, by the way.
June 24th. That's what today's date is, Justin. We've got a lot of time before all of a sudden
but
September rolls around and where everybody's at.
Yeah, remember, this is
so-
the same guy who thought that Houston wasn't going to do anything.
yes,
Right.
keep bringing that back up.
I will bring that up every dang show I am on.
And you have every right to.
They are a literal buzzsaw through baseball right now. And you were like, nah, I think Seattle's got it. Gerard Dyson bunted during a perfect game.
Yes.
Get out of here with that. Bunting is stupid enough.
Yeah.
Bunting during a perfect game.
And then we're going to talk some NBA draft as well in the third segment, and that's going to be a lot of fun, breaking down the 2017 NBA draft.
Yeah, how about Josh Jackson skipping a workout
Yes.
and then getting mad for that team not drafting him?
Well, there's kind of a reason for that.
I mean, he's just vandalizing the NBA's time. What is this, a car on KU's campus or what? Patrick wants to laugh, but he's trying to hide it.
Lots of fake news going around. I don't know what you're talking about, man. No, but
Danny Ainge is angry. He is so angry.
As I've got Bid Messer stare at me.
But that's okay,
Across
because
the
Jason
room.
Tatum's better anyway.
I mean, I'm okay and all right with it, but I mean, I'd rather it'd be Josh.
Can we
wearing
also
green.
talk about the poetic justice of Frank Mason being a Kansas grad, going to the team that once was in Kansas City? Like, if the Sacramento Kings made a throwback Kansas City Kings jersey and put Frank Mason's name on it, you know how much that would sell here?
I would get one, but I mean, at the same time, the Kings are a bottom pit of a franchise. Unfortunately, he and Ben McLemore,
The ultimate death trap.
get out of there.
But Shaq partly owns it.
What?
Yeah.
When was this?
Didn't he get in like years ago? Like him and another buyer? I'm pretty sure Shaq has a part ownership in the Kings. At least he did at one point.
That's news to me.
Where have you... I'm not even the NBA fan here. Thank you. You should feel bad. You both should feel bad.
Sorry,
God, you know it hurts being this smart sometimes.
it's all about the glasses.
And then we're going to wrap it up here as I'm going to try to now get through all the topics here. As we are
Haven't even started talking yet.
No, we haven't. Well, we have, just not for the right reasons. Yeah, this is why this show is never scheduled to go the way it's supposed to. You are so right, Jim.
That's why we have 4 bonus segments every day.
We got 2 today.
That's so true. Yes, we do. Chiefs and NL Central talk as well. So those are bonus segments coming up. Stay tuned for that on the podcast on SoundCloud.
But then what's the fourth segment?
Louisville basketball. I want to get to the bottom of what's all been going on with them in the NCAA. If it's spot on or not, which I don't think it is.
Wait, are you saying that Louisville didn't get punished enough?
Yes.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
I'm just making
Yes.
sure of the way we're going to talk about this.
How about you include the 2013 championship if there are players involved?
Yeah.
If there are.
Rick Pitino must vacate his tattoo that he got after they won. It should be painful and public.
And slow.
I think it's always slow.
Maybe.
No, I think tattoo removal is very painful and slow, at least as far as I know.
Okay.
Oh, come on, guys. Get your head. It is 6 a.m. I haven't had nearly enough Diet Mountain Dew for this.
All right, let's get started with the Chiefs. Okay, so Andy Reid gets a new contract deal. I'm all right with that. That is, out of the two moves, the most smartest move they've made, other than drafting Mahomes.
I'm fine with it. I think personally.
Who else are you gonna find as head coach
right
at this point?
Right. I mean, yeah, there are some things about Andy Reid. His game clock management.
Sure.
I mean that stuff is bothersome, but I do believe that if you give him the right personnel, aka guys that can play like Donovan McNabb, Terrell Owens, Deshaun Jackson, those guys that were running up and down the field like gazelles in the early 2000s with the Philadelphia Eagles, then I have no reason to suspect that the Kansas City Chiefs can do anything, if they can't do anything similar to that.
Well, you look at the people that have come in since, of course, the super downturn of the Chiefs back when they had the number one pick, and since that having the number one pick have improved dramatically. I mean, that's the one thing that people don't realize, just what Andy Reid and John Dorsey have come in and done. They have done one of the greatest reclamation projects, and doing it not with tons of money or tons of trades and things. That they've kept guys here, they've drafted well, they've promoted the right guys, and they've been a perennial player, or at least for the past couple seasons. They've either made the playoffs, they've won their first playoff game in how many years, and they won the division. You've gotten everything you've asked for out of this regime, but going forward, and I don't think it's an either or. That's the thing that I'm worried that this is going to become, is I think that so much of the press and Twitter I've seen seems to think, Andy Reid doesn't like John Dorsey, or John Dorsey wasn't meshing well. You know what? I think that's
a possibility.
And it might be, but I think when it comes down to it, you have a head coach that is going to be a Hall of Famer, whether he wins a Super Bowl or not.
Yes.
And you have a GM who honestly is just another branch off of the Ron Wolf Green Bay drafting style tree. You can find another John Dorsey, and that's not to say John Dorsey hasn't done a decent job.
That could be in-house.
But has John Dorsey done a perfect job? No.
He screwed up the Chiefs time and time again on the cap space, or the salary cap.
Maybe that's another reason.
I think I would say
that could be the main reason.
It's also why they fired the accountant too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
I would blame him more than I blame.
You allow what's his face to go to Indianapolis?
To the Colts, yeah.
Yeah, is it Rick Ballard?
Chris Ballard.
Chris Ballard, yeah.
Yeah, if you knew that, and see, that's what I think that this was a surprise. Because I don't think you let him go if you were planning on firing Dorsey.
No.
I don't think that,
he could be just as good or better.
Either.
And we'll find out how he does in Indy. We'll see.
Either Clark Hunt has a plan.
I hope he fails.
Or what happened was that maybe John Dorsey thought he had more leverage than he did, and Clark Hunt thought, you know what, between me and Andy Reid, who has done GM duties before, he won't be doing them, per reports, because he's done that in Philly and he doesn't like to do it along with coaching. But could he get by with it for a few months while they hire somebody? I think they could.
Maybe.
Yeah, but I don't like the feeling now that Dorsey's gone. I mean, it just feels like there's just a big gap. And there's something. I mean, who knows who will take over? And maybe.
Well, the fact is,
we know one thing. It won't be Reid. He's not going to be GM. He tried that before in Philly. It failed miserably.
Well, what do we think has to happen? I mean, are there more trades? Do you think that need to be made? I mean, at this point, the draft has already happened.
Yep.
Right.
All the draft picks are signed, and at this point, it's just making cuts, which is Reid's job, not Dorsey's job anyway. Yeah. Sure, Dorsey would be in the room. But I think Andy Reid, when it comes to personnel on the field, he's the guy that does that. Now, sure, Dorsey could be in the room and certainly getting more of these players, but at least when we look at what a GM's duty is at this point of the season, this isn't the worst time to lose your GM. The hard part about it is that you already lost what would have been your next GM to the Colts.
Yeah. I mean, that's really stupid. Like, how can you let a guy who's underneath Dorsey, and then you let him go to another organization?
That'd be like
Well, you let him leave because you're not going to need him.
It'd be like J.J. Piccolo.
I don't think they were gonna
going
need
to
him.
the Twins, and Dayton Moore, didn't do anything about keeping J.J. with the Royals.
He could have been Dayton Moore's successor. You never know.
He could be. Yeah.
Hopefully, Dayton Moore keeps his job
Yeah.
for 10 years.
Yes,
Yeah.
which I'm going to bet he will.
Yeah.
He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, right.
Look, your best employees are going to leave. That's the
Right.
thing.
We can't stop that, but still.
That's the thing. That's what makes me think is that it must have just been a pure communication disconnect, or the fact that maybe John Dorsey thought he had a seat in Green Bay and Clark Hunt called his bluff on it.
Maybe.
And that could be it. And maybe Ted Thompson doesn't retire. Maybe John Dorsey ends up following him there. But we don't know. I think John Dorsey had done a decent enough job. Clearly, they thought he was going to stick around, and just something with him and Clark Hunt didn't mash up. But I don't think Andy Reid had anything to do with this. I think it's just a matter. You kept the coach, and something went wrong. Something went totally awry with your GM negotiations.
Yeah,
I just hope we find out soon.
I now that I think about it, yeah, that's probably the best explanation you could possibly
Because
give.
otherwise, like you don't let Ballard go.
Right. Mm-hmm. You're expecting Dorsey to stay in that situation.
All right, so we will touch.
come back.
And it got who could see I was
blame it
wrong
all on me. There was something. All right,
That was sexy, you guys.
Need to record an
Screw
album.
radio.
Yeah,
Let's get into. All right. The
Screw radio.
iTunes time.
ski guys, we're starting a band.
All right, so we will touch more based on the Chiefs later on the show when it's going to be the podcast side of things on a bonus segment. But we're now going to take our first break of this morning. We're having so much fun. We're going to have to pause for a moment. And after our local sponsors, we will come back and we'll talk some baseball, AL Central, and the Royals. The Royals, they're in this for good. They're going to be buyers. I just know it for a fact. They're buyers. So we'll have more with Jim Grundy and Patrick Hennessy when we come right back. This is Radioactive Sports right here on ESPN Kansas City. We are finally back here on Radioactive Sports. We have so much fun off break. You know that?
So many commercials.
I know.
It's fun to listen
I
to them.
try to minimize them, minimize them.
Come on, Justin. Just use your pocketbook, man. Just buy all the commercials. And
Yeah.
We can talk.
Yeah.
So we don't have to hear the stupid A1 mortgage making your dreams a reality.
Yeah, I can really tell how that really, really sets you up every God.
I mean, we're on to like our
You know
eighth
what?
bonus segment at this point.
But you know what? My favorite one's the Billy Sims barbecue.
Here we go. That one's epic. Lordy.
Too bad that Ben Messer's intern's not in here.
Oh God, he would blow a
Jay.
gasket. You'd blow a gasket.
All right, so let's talk some baseball. Man, if we would have thought the Royals, about a month or so ago, would be in this position, we would be slapping ourselves silly.
I probably would be like laughing so hard I'd fall on the floor. Like that's just insane. Like to think that this actually turned around, but it's also thanks to the weak Central Division of the American
Which
League.
I will say,
Did it really turn around, or
and
did
two of
everyone else
you-
just suck more than the Royals?
and the two of you may have a different opinion than I would when it comes to the difference between the NL Central and AL Central, but to me, AL Central is the weakest of the two. So, but we can have that discussion in the bonus segment.
Right.
So, Royals sitting a game below 500. I don't see how they can not sweep the Jays this weekend. The Jays, I know they're kind of on a roll too, but hey, home cooking.
That's just you. That's just for the Blue Jays.
You just gotta win the series, man.
Yeah.
If they take two
Sure,
of three,
two of three, they're above 500 regardless.
Right.
But
well, I'm just saying as much as a sweep would be awesome, and certainly the next 3 weeks are going to determine whether they're buyers or sellers. But
I just love seeing those brooms.
Yeah, it's why we don't see him very often. No. I mean, ever. I mean, it's just you don't see them unless you're like last year's Cubs.
No, because Ned loves trouting out those lineups. Nah, let's just get the series. Yeah, we don't need the sweep.
Right, but if you take 2 of every 3, even if they take 2 of every 3
know,
from this point on, they're easily in the playoffs.
And they've won 4 series in a row, so, I mean.
That's all you need.
And how about Sally just keeps on asking Miguel Cabrera for his bat?
I mean,
whatever works, man.
Right. We were up. Justin and I were up here.
And are you okay with that, by the way? Seeing Salvi
I don't
using
mind
someone else's bat?
I don't mind.
Yes.
It.
I
don't
do.
care. I don't
It's
care
not
if
a
he
big
uses.
deal.
I don't care if he uses Miggy's jockstrap. if he hits 400 with Miggy's jockstrap, send every single one down to Kansas City.
Oh man, that just literally we just took another left turn.
I'm pretty sure Eric Hosmer's first home run, he was using Mike Moustakas' bat this year. I mean, baseball's a weird game.
Yeah.
It is.
You know what? If you're 0 for 4, you change your underwear, you go back out there and you try it again.
You grow a facial hair, you grow out your hair, long head
Right.
hair, you change your stance and whatever. No, but like we were up here at Justin and I were up here at the station. On Wednesday, and that thing literally happened out of nowhere. Justin, you called that grand slam.
But I was calling for more on Lorenzo Cain because when I was an intern here, and I was here one day, and I was sitting in Ben Meser's office, and I'm just like, boy, would it be nice if we could have a home run that ties this ball game, and Cain hit a 2-run shot to tie it.
Yeah.
And Cain was at the bat. I'm like, well, it could happen again, maybe. But he couldn't do it, so then Salvi did it. So I didn't really call it, but
yeah, but it really looked like at first, like the way he finished his swing, it was like it may just be a fly ball that may get a run home, but it's not going to be, going over the fence. But then I saw the fence, fans were going over to it. Where the ball was going to land, and they were trying to get ready to catch it. And I thought, oh my God, this actually did get over the fence and by a lot.
So we're gonna kind of do a similar version of Frank Opinions. Have you ever listened to that, Jim, on the program?
Oh yeah.
Because I posted a Twitter fan poll question on my Twitter page a couple days ago, asking which still is the favorite to win the AL Central minus the Twins and White Sox, even though I did add them as an option at the very end.
Yeah, it's not a pointed question at all.
I
the way you worded that.
Yeah. I just said, okay, Twins or Sox, but Royals, Indians, Tigers, or Twins or Sox?
It's still the Indians to lose.
Right.
Like again, we're talking about the fact that the Royals are now in playoff contention. They're not even 500 yet.
Yeah.
And that's and how many years has that ever happened? I mean, really, since people have talked about maybe the 2011 Cardinals,
right,
as apparently one of the worst teams to sneak in, and even they had 83, 85 wins.
Something like that. 2006 had 83-79 record.
Yeah.
And won the Central on the last day.
You'd be surprised what the results are so far on the votes.
It's the Indians to lose big time though.
It is.
And until the Royals win a couple of series against the Indians, especially in Cleveland, then you got to still give it to the Tribe.
Here are the results so far: 34% White Sox or Twins, and then Royals are tied with the Indians at 33%. So whoever the other person thinks that the White Sox or Twins are going to do it, you're out of your mind.
To me, the Twins are separate from the White Sox big time. I put the Tigers closer to the White Sox.
Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting, though. It does look like the Tigers are going to sell.
Yeah.
J.D. Martinez,
they're
possibly
done.
Ian Kinsler.
They're done.
Hey, Miggy, send all your bats.
Yeah.
And one jockstrap. Just in case Salvi goes down again.
Yeah, send them all to Salvi. He is something else. Yeah, that's. I guess that's one other thing we could talk about. I was watching this on MLB Network. Is Salvi the best catcher in baseball?
He's up there.
He's up there. Yes.
Him.
He's
Posey.
either. Don't bring up Posey. No.
No, I wouldn't either because
Stop being biased against the Giants.
It's because he's a part-time first baseman too. That's what bothers everybody who's not a Giant fan.
That's why any Twins fans, and I have respect for Joe Mauer, but if any Twins fans still say Joe Mauer,
He's a first baseman.
Exactly.
Right. Joe Mauer's been a first baseman for a while. He's not a catcher anymore.
But to me, Salvi. It's tough to say because I have respect for Molina, and he's been the catcher of this game, the face of this game, as far as catchers for a long time.
About a decade.
His defense has gone down, though.
Yeah, it has.
Like, Perez's defense has gotten better. His framing still needs some work. But you look in terms of a complete catcher, then I think Salvador Perez would be your number one. You know, like I said, depending on someone's opinion of Posey.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going to go with Salvi. That's just my honest opinion. I mean, Molina's right there still.
I mean, yeah.
We appreciate how you're trying to talk up Molina, but this is not the year to do it, homie. Like, we love you, Justin, but you don't need to bark up that tree.
You don't need to sweet talk us.
Right. We're already here.
Right.
At 6 a.m, man.
No, but I mean, I will say this. I think that Yadier's offense, I think that if he can, I mean, the way he's been, he's had a 16-game hitting streak where he's had like a 297 average during it. And then there's, now this next one here, he's like a 10 now or something. I think it's 10 games in a row with base hit or something like that. I mean, yeah, I'm glad. I hope he gets, if he hits 20 homers or more, that would be outstanding because it helps his Cooperstown cause. But for how he is as a catcher overall, he's not what he was 2011 to, I'd say, even 2015. So, I mean, and plus the fact that Mike Matheny trots him out there every single day, that doesn't help his cause either. So, but, I mean, hey, he's up there. I'd say Sal is 1, 2. He's definitely best in the American League, I can tell you that right now.
Yes. And that's why he's leading everybody in all the voting.
And he's proven, he may not be a Johnny Bench type. Like I've told you before, he could be a Yogi Berra, a Bill Dickey, who could hit 20, 25, maybe even 30 homers, have 100 RBIs.
And that alone, that's saying something.
Hit 280, 85, 90, 95.
I mean, you putting Salvi up in the company of Yogi Berra, that's...
And Bill Dickey. I mean, people, he's so criminally underrated, but that's for another time. But...
yeah, that came in for the day when we were kind of describing that article from that website, fanside.com.
Oh, jeez. I literally erupted like a volcano.
We lost it that day.
No, I became...
You did.
I became a volcano erupted.
You did.
Like, all of a sudden, like, without no warning. Bam. But, yeah.
He had a reason to, because there was a lot of people that were left off of that stupid...
And, of course, it's based in Chicago now. What a shock.
Yeah.
But to tell you about the Royals right now, I do think that, like Jim said, they're competitive, and yet they haven't even hit the 500 mark yet.
No.
I do think that, based off of what I saw yesterday or last night on MLB Network, they showed an update of the standings in both leagues. American League wildcard, the Royals and the Orioles, as of this very second, are both 2 games out of the second wildcard berth.
If both teams had the opposite record when the Orioles came to town a while... Okay, think about this. Baltimore was 20-10, best record in the American League.
They were driving,
and the Royals were 10-20.
They were driving, and then all of a sudden, after the Royals come in, they swept the O's.
Pitching,
a good game on Mother's Day too, which I saw by the way. Pitching
always takes it takes its toll. There we go.
Right, and
in Baltimore every year.
Yep, and then the Orioles all of a sudden they just started to come back down to earth, and the Royals started ascending a little bit, back and forth. But now they're the ones competing, and now they're both in the wild card hunt. So we'll see.
Any more on that, Jim? You got anything else?
I don't know. I think it'll just be interesting to see, like, if they win a few more series, it'll be interesting to see, like, who they might add, who they might. If they do still need to trade anybody, I mean, I think they added Neftali Feliz, which I think is an instant impact arm, and of course Chris Young designated for assignment. So,
wait, this happened finally?
He's gone.
Where have I been?
Yeah,
it's 6 a.m. This is like breaking as of yesterday.
In the words on Seinfeld, am I asleep? What year is it?
We got to make room for him on the roster, so somebody had to go.
Right.
Well, bye, CY.
And of course, as the Royals get to September, I mean, you're not going to have Young there. You're going to have Skoglund. You're going to have Junis. You're going to have whoever the Stallmont kid has been lighting it up at AAA right now. That you've seen. I mean, for once the Royals finally have some young arms that maybe you don't have to add a Dylan G type, a Chris Young type. Maybe you go out and you get a bopper. You get a guy who could DH, a guy who could fill in, whether that's, as we talked in the break, whether that's a Matt Adams, whether that's a Stephen Vogt, something like that. Whoever you can add, see if you can add him for cheap or maybe a low-level prospect.
Right.
And then boom, you've got your guy for the September-October run.
Yeah.
Man, I really did not see Chris Young coming. That was a sure. If that is true, Jim, that's a shocking surprise.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Yep. Bye-bye, CY. That
one of our favorite sound bites ever.
Forever a Royals champion.
Bye-bye.
And also,
just one more time, yeah.
The only day I ever felt emasculated in my life was when I was at spring training and I had to talk to Brian Flynn, who was 6'7". Then I talked to Ryan Madsen, who was 6'9".
Oh, nice.
And then the only guy who was left in the locker room in surprise that day was Chris Young.
God.
The most polite person I have ever talked to, and he's 6'10". And I'm 6'2". Like, I'm tall, but I am not that tall compared to those guys.
Nope. All right, so we're going to take a break here once again. When we come right back, we're going to move into the NBA draft. It was pretty interesting to watch what took place the other night in the NBA draft for 2017. And, of course, some local action happened. Wesley Iwundu got drafted. Frank Mason got drafted. And, of course, we'll talk about Josh Jackson. But we may have more of a discussion on first Lonzo Ball. His dad is yet in the news again.
Yes, I am. I'm undefeated, never lost.
And something is wrong with you.
I would beat Michael Jordan in his
really
worst
surprised
days.
at that?
I would beat Michael Jordan 1-on-1.
And that is
Not okay.
not
And
at
not
all.
correct.
Yes. All right, we're going to come back. This is Radioactive Sports.
With the first pick in the 2017 NBA Draft, the Philadelphia 76ers select Markelle Fultz from the University of Washington. With the second pick in the 2017 NBA Draft, the Los Angeles Lakers select Lonzo Ball from UCLA. With the third pick in the 2017 NBA Draft, the Boston Celtics select Jason Tatum from Duke University. With the fourth pick in the 2017 NBA Draft, the Phoenix Suns select Josh Jackson from the University of Kansas.
We are back here on Radioactive Sports, here on ESPN Kansas City. We still have Jim Grundy in studios.
Hi, everyone. You haven't kicked me out yet.
Nope.
Not yet.
But someday, somehow.
I'm going to tell you what.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you what.
Mixtape coming soon.
We're going to play that here shortly as we're going to talk about the NBA draft. LeVar Ball, yet again in the news for his son, who was drafted second overall by the Lakers.
And I'm still here.
Yes. I was going to mention you. I wasn't going to be like Ben saying, gentlemen, Patrick.
LeVar,
He does that all the time.
send me a bunch of swag. I will wear it.
I'm going to tell you what.
I'm going to tell you what. You send me a check for $20 and a bunch of free stuff. I will wear it. I'll tell you that, LeVar, right now.
$94 for shoes. God.
I'm not going to buy it myself, but if he sends it to me, I'll wear it.
He's a piece of work, I tell you. But let's do talk some NBA draft with, of course, Patrick Hennessy and Jim Grundy. Do you like how I mentioned you actually first this time, Patrick?
I know it's fine as long as I'm acknowledged as existing. Wait, where am I?
Yeah, I was trying to do that earlier this morning, in the intro. But
What?
thank goodness we're not Phil Jackson.
Or Uncle Phil.
Trade Porzingis. Trade him. Trade him. Come on. Give Porzingis a
Anything
chance
they
to.
do to this point is just idiotic.
That's what I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for dysfunction. I'm rooting.
Something is wrong with you.
Right. So go to the Bucks, go to the Thunder, go to somewhere that can use a stretch four or just an awesome player because he is wasted in New York anyway.
Yeah, Porzingis would look good in a Lakers uniform.
You're going to say Yankees. That'd be hilarious.
You know what? Take your Pittsburgh and your Lakers and you have Thomas Bryant.
Yeah,
you're fine.
Now.
Yeah, I know. I saw that trade. I like that trade.
And they signed someone to a free agent deal, too.
Lonzo Ball and Jordan Clarkson are going to score 90 points a game, brah.
That's Jim Grundy's I'm going to tell you what right now.
And speaking of, so the big story.
LeVar, seriously, send me a shirt.
LeVar Ball has already come out with a bold prediction that he thinks that his son's going to lead the Lakers to the playoffs his very first year. Here's the outtake on it.
I'm going to tell you what. Lonzo Ball is going to take the Lakers to the playoffs his first year. Come see me when he does. I have another hat on to say I told you so.
Something is wrong with you.
God.
I'm sorry, but I know you guys don't think that's as big of a deal or that's not as bold, but it's stupid, though.
As I told you during the break, Justin, if he had said Lonzo Ball's going to be the greatest player who ever put on a Laker uniform, if he had said that, now that would be, I would lose my crap, so to speak. But to say, he's going to lead the Lakers to the playoffs this year, it's crazy, but not
how far
Richter
off
scale.
were the Lakers? Justin, you know better than us.
They were way off. They've been way off the last few years.
Right.
That's why they're in this position. That's why they got Ball.
But when you're in, you can change. The number 2 pick can change things. I mean, that's the thing with basketball.
And Magic Johnson's already changing a lot of things, and it's going to be really exciting in Lakerland. And I'm pretty excited as well, even though I would have gone for a floor general like De'Aaron Fox, or you think of a few others, but it's whatever. I wasn't really all for Lonzo Ball, but it is whatever. And pretty much when they dealt D'Angelo Russell and they got rid of who's that the forward that they had, Mas? No.
The French guy?
Yeah. Timothy Mozgov.
Oh,
that's it.
No. Oh, yeah, okay.
And they got Lopez in that deal. It was pretty much a done deal. They were going to get Ball.
They're the only people who can sell LeVar and Lonzo together.
Right.
I mean, could you imagine
Because they're
LeVar
from
Ball
there.
going to Boston?
That would not fly.
No.
Gosh, that'd be awesome. The reality TV
And the
show they would
Patriots
have
would
made
no
out
longer
there,
be the story of Massachusetts. It would be the Ball family.
they'd be throwing the tea into the harbor again.
That would they are the Balls are the Kardashians of sports. Let's face it. I'm telling
It's
you.
just
right
They
one.
are.
It's just one ball.
I'm going to tell you what.
It's just one ball. It's not both balls.
No, there's 2 balls.
now. Squishy balls.
Lonzo and LeVar.
Right, but one ball is loud, the other ball is quiet.
True.
One ball just wants to ball, and
That's
the other
true,
ball
yeah.
just wants to ball over everybody else.
Exactly.
You squishy.
And it's that guy right here.
I'm going to tell you what.
He's loud.
Let's tell
Yeah.
you what, we're talking a lot of balls this morning here.
He's
on-
really loud.
Squishy. Are perfect.
Okay, so
I think you need a new pump.
let's
Clearly, you're playing with the wrong basketballs, my friend.
I just
See, and that's the other thing is with all of this branding opportunity, and I give LeVar credit for, I mean, people know Big Baller Brands, and it's probably a crappy brand. But seriously, though, send me a t-shirt, bro. Why, instead of coming up with the Big Baller brand, why wouldn't you sell his own brand of basketballs? Because you could have the LeVar Ball, you could sell the Lonzo Ball. He's got like 5 kids. That's at
And
least
they're all going to go to UCLA.
That's at least like 5 different sizes of basketball. God. Look at the now, LeVar, if you use that, I will sue the crap out of you. Probably not, but
Yeah, that's Grundy's idea. You don't steal his idea.
right.
That's right.
Just like the new segment we're going to debut.
Basically, Jim is telling you this.
I'm
Brandon,
gonna tell you what.
You say, I'm going to tell you what, LeVar. You don't steal my idea.
I'm gonna tell you what.
you can pay for it though. I mean, you can have it. You just give me like $20.
Lordy.
Okay, so
I don't hate it. I don't hate it though.
So here's the rundown on the draft. Markelle Fultz went overall number 1 to the 76ers. That was pretty much expected. Lonzo Ball.
LeVar, he's going. He put on his own Laker uniform and
Wrong ball, Justin.
Yeah. Jason Tatum goes to your Celtics, Patrick. Yeah, and I did not like the comparison right off the bat. Paul Pierce.
Paul is a god compared to Jason Tatum. Don't get me wrong, I'm okay, right? But
He will not.
Isn't Paul Pierce more of a forward and less of a wing though?
right,
That's the thing. I mean, Jason Tatum's he's a shooter.
Yeah.
He's not an
all-around player.
inside, not a banger type of player.
No,
I don't know. At least I don't think he was in college.
no, not from my recollection. No,
And then here locally, Josh Jackson from the University of Kansas was taken 4th overall by the Phoenix
I wish he could have gone to the
Suns.
Celtics. I mean, he would have been much
That's
better.
what I was expecting.
But
He skipped out on his workout.
Yes, he did.
True.
He canceled his
Yep.
work. Danny Ainge. I think Danny Ainge wanted to take him.
I think
because he is angry.
right. I think
So mad.
I think also that there was the whole thing with maybe he would be going up in the selection and then he probably heard something. He's like, oh, but then. I mean, I don't care, but here's the thing. I did read last night though after the draft. Josh and Devin Booker would be a good fit together with the Suns that play well together. I think Josh would be a good fit there in Phoenix, but it remains to be seen when it gets to the point where, like with Andrew Wiggins, you need to get him to a much better franchise, one that's going to be competitive, one that's going to be really good.
Yeah, poor Frank Mason going.
Oh my God!
To the biggest death trap.
We were really hoping, Justin and I were talking about this, as long as Josh and then Frank don't go to the Kings, and now he's in.
And poor De'Aaron Fox too. He's going to the Kings too.
I know, and they're going to put him at the point guard over Frank. Like Frank,
They will.
But maybe
scored him.
But maybe that's what helps turn the team around. You've got a new
But the-
starting point
but-
guard
but
in Fox.
then-
You've
but
got a
then-
solid backup in Mason.
Or you could have them both. You can play 2 guards at the same time,
Right.
Fox and Mason.
But if Fox is more of a point guard though, he's not much more of a. He's not a 2, is he?
No.
I mean, yeah, Mason's a 1.
He's
Yeah.
yeah, Fox is a 1. He's a point guard.
Yeah, Frank's a combo.
But unless Fox is a 2, I don't think Frank is enough of a 2. And I don't think Frank is a 2 in the NBA. Frank could be a 2
Right.
in college, and he was at times at KU when you put Graham in there.
Right.
But I'm guessing that just based on his height and based on his shooting, I don't know. I still think he makes a solid. I mean, no matter where he would have ended up, he would have ended up a really good 6th or 7th man on that bench,
Right.
or that 1st or 2nd backup 1 off the bench.
Right.
It just, I mean, sure, he doesn't get the great situation, but I don't know. Sacramento, they got rid of Boogie,
Right.
so
Yeah.
clearly they're already trending up. De'Aaron Fox was a pretty good pick. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they have around him. That's the thing.
There's not a whole lot.
There's not. Jimmer is gone, people.
Right.
There is no true scorer
Teach me how to
anymore.
Jimmer. Teach me how to Jimmer.
Oh God.
I was looking because remember when we discussed this throwback Kings uniform idea?
Right.
I wanted to see if that existed, and it doesn't. So, dear Kings, if you want to do that, just pay me $20 for the licensing, for the idea. But there was actually a black jersey that had a purple name across it, and it didn't say Kings. It said Jimmer. And I was like, that
Wow.
is. And I'm like, even though my name is Jim, and I would consider buying that jersey, like that's the worst jersey I've ever seen. That's so bad. It's bad.
That's the Kings for you.
It's basically as bad as when I try to play basketball. Which, if you ask our friend Rob Breton, he can tell you it's awful.
But you're 6'2". You could be a shooting guard. You'd be good.
I could, but it doesn't work that way. Just, like the ball goes up and it either doesn't come back down or like it's bad. I pretty much just have to elbow Rob a lot to get close to the basket.
Yeah, but I mean, I do think overall it's a really interesting NBA draft. There are some good guys that went and they ended up in some good situations. I think for the most part.
Minnesota's going to be good.
Yeah, we'll talk about that
Minnesota
later.
will be exciting.
We'll talk about that later. We'll give our biggest surprises later on in the bonus segment as well. So we're not doing 3 bonus segments, but just kind of, a little more touching up on the NBA draft.
Not 1, not 2.
Yeah, not 1,
3,
not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, I'm just trying to do the whole entire.
Yeah, but you sound more like LeVar Ball there than you do normally. I'm going to tell you what.
I'm going to tell you what.
How many times have we played that now?
Not enough.
Not
I'm going to tell you what.
There you go. Are you happy?
I'm
There's one.
fine.
I'm going to tell you what.
See, LeVar,
two.
LeVar just could have gotten into the music business and it would have worked out just fine.
Not 3.
Because Big Baller Records.
I'm going to tell you what.
4.
Not 3. Not 4.
I'm going to tell you what.
Not 5.
All right. Unbelievable.
Golly, I think we need a breather or 9.
We do.
To the 2 of you who haven't turned us off yet.
So we're going to take our final break here with Patrick and Jim. When we come right back, we'll wrap it up. We'll stay on basketball. But we're going to talk about
college basketball.
Yeah, the situation with the Louisville men's basketball program, which they were not punished enough. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm going to tell you what. More should be coming towards the Cardinals' way. More punishment.
Is that a pun?
Yeah. And
dang it, Justin!
and a good follow-up question to that before we take a break here is, are they taking batting practice for the biggest of them all in North Carolina?
I tell you what, they've gotten away with so much scrutiny, it's pathetic.
Yeah.
So many rescinded tattoos.
Yeah.
Oh, Rick Pitino.
Yeah.
Long live his tattoo from 2013.
Yeah.
Which should be vacated. So we'll talk about that when we come back. This is Radioactive Sports here on another fun Saturday morning here on ESPN Kansas City. Welcome back to the show. You can always check out Radioactive Sports on Facebook, Twitter, on SoundCloud.com, and now actually on YouTube. So I'm very proud to say that. Now I'm posting videos on YouTube of this radio show every Saturday. It's awesome. More attention.
Positive attention.
I tell you, the attention right now on Louisville basketball sure is
Negative.
pretty negative, as the NCAA has already come down on them, but not hard enough, as they normally don't on a lot of situations. North Carolina.
Yep.
Rick Pitino has been suspended for the first 5 ACC games. Well, I know it's 5 of them. It's probably going to be the first 5, probably. It normally is.
I don't think you get to choose which ACC games.
Right, it's the first 5 games.
Right.
And Louisville has been banned from, I think it's going to be from any postseason or any type of play for about 5 years, 4 or 5 years. Wow. So that's not enough to me.
No.
You vacate the title. Now, I think it is wise to go searching for any players that were involved on that team to do that, but
And don't
to
forget
me, if it was me, I would just come down right off the bat and say, your title's vacated.
don't forget their 2012 Final Four appearance.
Wichita State.
No.
Oh, no, that was 13.
2012, it ran into those idiots from their home state. But anyways, continue.
Yeah, I would have just come down right out of the blue. I would have just said, vacated. Your championship's vacated because of what
Wins.
you did. Championship, wins, conference titles. I would really go all in
Take years off.
The whole shebang.
Take years off of banners or banners in themselves.
Yes.
Like,
and they need to do this against Carolina too.
Exactly.
They need to do this.
That's what I keep thinking about. You know, somebody brought it up to me the other day, and they had a thought that, you know, maybe they're just taking practice swings, because ultimately North Carolina keeps saying, "Oh, it's not an NCAA issue." Well, yeah, you've got NCAA student athletes, and this wasn't just some academic scandal. It spread across the athletic department.
And look, all these coaches, all these I'm going to leave Bill Self out of this.
Right.
Because he is nowhere near to ever be seen in this picture with Pitino.
Right. He's Teflon anyway. Even if he did, nothing would stick to him. Car vandalism.
Anyway.
Nothing in comparison.
No,
not to this.
Rick.
Yeah.
I mean, Roy Williams, Rick Pitino, all these coaches, they're just competing with each other to
Calipari.
see. They're competing with each other to see who can be the dirtiest.
Right.
They really are.
I don't think that's what they're
Keith's
actually.
Well, no. But I mean,
but you're competing for players. Players are impressionable, and that's what happens.
Right.
Especially
it's like, how do you get a guy to remember? Well,
hey,
that'd be one way to get a guy to remember what happened down there.
Yeah. Down south, I mean,
exactly.
It's all about what can we do
to sweep
in any way possible to win games.
Sweep it under the rug.
How dirty can we get?
And how much can we get away with?
Right. It was like, that's more what it is. It's not how dirty can we get, it's what can we get away with.
Yeah. I mean,
who was the name of that assistant that used to be with Pitino that went to UMKC?
Kareem Richardson?
No. It was another assistant. This guy went with Kareem when he became head coach at UMKC.
That's a good question.
I forget right at the moment.
But eventually he was dismissed from the program at UMKC because of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jim, what do you think about that?
I don't know. I mean, I think it'll be interesting. Certainly you see a lot. And a lot of these punishments that the NCAA is in a tough spot because there is no rules essentially for a lot of these situations that they're coming up against. So essentially every new thing sets a new precedent. And the hard part is where do you set the bar?
Right.
Because depending on where you set the bar here determines on where you set the bar for North Carolina. Certainly for things that have happened in the past, if the bar has been set too high or too low, you do have to respect that precedent that has already been. And I don't know what they would compare this to. I don't think it's not a show cause. It's not something like that. I mean, this is worse than anything we've seen in a while. Certainly apart from an academic scandal, but that's about to hit North Carolina.
What about Penn State? Because somebody brought up a good thought when I was talking to somebody the other day. He said, what about the fact that, there was nobody that was IDing these people coming into these parties? Could they have been underage? And you have to think of that possibility, too, in addition to all of this stuff that we found out had been going on with these recruits. So
are you saying like the recruits were underage, or are you saying like they basically brought prostitutes that were underage?
No, I'm saying that there were people that came to these parties that were underage.
Well, it's college. That's going to happen.
Well, I mean underage is in like under 18, but like they're like 17 or 16. I mean, just a little extra little nugget to consider, because that could have possibly occurred.
I will say I don't think this is to the level of like what's currently happening at Baylor or what has happened at Penn State. I mean, that is institutionalized.
Right, yeah.
This seems to be a few recruits, one-time thing through this particular assistant, but clearly Rick Pitino should know what's going on. Because if you don't,
and that's what really bugs me is how
he can't
these coaches they cover up themselves by saying, well, I didn't really know about it, and we're doing the best we can, to defend ourselves, and we didn't do this, and I'm mad at the NCAA for punishing us when he knew what was going on.
If you don't know there's hookers with your recruits,
you're an idiot.
You shouldn't be coaching.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could be in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be where Brent Musburger
Yep.
is.
I. By the way, I wish I could have seen him. I wish I could have come up to him, shook his hand, and said, "I thank you for all of your time to cover the
You
field
are
house."
looking
Look
live.
You are
at
looking
the
live
strip.
as I'm seeing Patrick Hennessy shaking hands with Brent Musburger.
And I'm giving him the over/under on how many times I can shake his hand before he tells me to walk away.
I'm going with 4.
I'm gonna tell you what.
This is going to happen right now.
I'm gonna tell you what.
I'm going to watch Patrick Hennessy shake hands with Brent Musburger.
I wish I could.
Would you have gone for the hug, or would you have just stayed? Or would you have gone with like the bro hug, like the handshake that goes into the half hug, or would you have just stayed professional and gone with the handshake?
You would go with handshake.
I'm a professional, like, handshake, like, unless I don't know. I mean, the hug thing, like, I wouldn't do that. He'd be like, man, you see Catherine Webb, you know, that thing.
All right,
That
guys.
was crazy.
That's going to officially do it here on ESPN Kansas City, but you guys are going to still be on the show here coming up as we're going to do a couple more bonus segments.
You sure that we can't do this for another hour? I mean, that should be, like, standard procedure.
Dude, I tell you what, I wish this show was another hour longer here on ESPN 1510. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, and then on weekdays.
That's what I'm hoping for. Is
3 to
eventually have any weekday show or weeknights, like how Jim used to do on the
3 to 6.
It was
Or-
good. It was good times, my friend. It
You
was
were
good
like,
times.
You were like what, 7 to like 10 or some weeknights?
Yeah. Well, it was a 2-hour show, so
Yeah.
it was 7 to 9 or 8 to 10, something like that. Life
But-
was good. The
but
recruits were
regardless-
coming in. Rick Pitino was there. Oh wait, hold on. Never mind.
But anyway, so that's going to do it here for Radioactive Sports here on ESPN 1510 AM, 99.3 FM. Stay tuned for the guys of the W, Walls and Watson as usual, from 10 to 11 later here this morning, then for other local programming. Otherwise, I will be back again next Saturday, and it'll be live here in the 1510 studios, as I'm going to have the co-host and producer of What's on Tap next Saturday, Rudy Salazar, here in studios. So I look forward to doing that. I will be back next Saturday, everybody. See you later.
ESPN Kansas City is KCTE Independence and K257DZ Kansas City, 99.3 FM.
Toxic? Not quite. Edgy? Maybe. Passionate? Ain't no doubt about it.
Hold on. What?
You gotta be kidding me!
You kidding me?
The guy is drunk, but there he goes! Something is wrong with you!
Oh no! No! He was safe at No! No!
You're killing me, Smalls!
This is Radioactive Sports with Justin Pemberton.
All right, welcome back to Radioactive Sports now, just on SoundCloud.com. Hey, thanks for everybody who is switching over to their laptop instead of on their radio, as this show was just complete on ESPN Kansas City just a few moments ago. We still have Jim Grundy and Patrick Hennessy here in the studios, as we're still doing this show, as we're getting ready to do a couple bonus segments. We're just going to quickly, before we do talk more Chiefs football, and really dig into more on the situation with former GM John Dorsey, I really want to give our surprises of the NBA draft. I think mine just simply is the Timberwolves' huge move for Butler. Did not see that coming because all reports were he was going to stay in Chicago. He was not going to leave. Cavaliers couldn't do anything to bring him in. Lakers were going after Paul George. They still might next year or maybe sooner, maybe. But, wow, what a move.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was hanging with some friends out of old Chicago over in Olathe, which has great pizza, by the way. I love it, as an aside. But I was sitting there and I thought, wait a second. You're going to try to get Jimmy Butler to be a Timberwolf. And what are you going to get in return? What are you going to do? Bulls? Seriously? I mean, they've really been nothing since Michael Jordan left after the second retirement.
No, they haven't. But like I said earlier, on the show, we were on ESPN 1510, 99.3, was I couldn't understand from the side of the Timberwolves at first, because you're getting rid of, and I know we talked about it. I mean, Levine's always been a dunker, and that's really been it, but he's a freakish athlete. And then you get rid of a future potential floor general in Chris Dunn. So I couldn't understand that, but then I kind of thought about it. Once they were kind of showing what was going to happen, what would take place on the rosters for both sides, it's like, okay, this makes sense. It's a win-win for both teams.
Yeah. I mean, that's usually what you're going for. Like, if you're two general managers and you're thinking, what can you give me that'll help me out, but what can I give you that can help you out? Always having a win-win situation and this isn't just the NBA. You hear this in the NFL. I imagine the NHL too. And you have MLB, and you got all those trades. I don't know about MLS, but I imagine that's probably the circumstances there too. But when it comes to the NBA, I mean they're trying to get it so that both sides are getting a good deal in the end, and that's where you see these teams lose trades, win trades, and so on and so forth. My surprise from the NBA draft is very, very brief and short, and it's very, very easy. LeVar Ball. Him saying the Lakers are going to go to the playoffs.
I'm going to tell you what. Lonzo Ball is going to take the Lakers to the playoffs his first year. Come see me when he does. I have another hat on to say I told you so.
I'm going to walk right up to him, and I'm going to have a cap on myself that says, "You're an idiot." And I'll strut in walking toward you like that, like, yay!
And here's how you're going to do it.
I'm going to tell you what.
Yep, I'm going to say that.
You're an idiot.
I'm going to tell you what, you're an idiot. I myself am undefeated, and I've never lost when it comes to beating your butt.
Exactly. Jim?
I'll admit there's not a ton of surprises. The NBA draft is tough for me. I don't really watch a ton of pro basketball. We don't have a market. I haven't cared to watch really since the Bulls mattered.
Right. I don't really get into it till playoff time.
That I was surprised to see Philly go all in. I really think that Boston still got a good enough player. And
that didn't surprise me. It's Philly.
Well, and that's the thing, is maybe they're building something. And maybe it's the fact that Markelle Fultz has just been on an awful team.
Embiid. Then you've got Simmons.
Right. I mean, and when Embiid's on the floor, the Sixers are a decent team. So now that you've got a true point guard.
Embiid is a freak.
That you can let Simmons be your number two. I also think that, I don't mind the Lonzo Ball. It bothers me that a team can let a person badger them into a pick. And maybe it was just the fact that Lonzo Ball and the Lakers made such perfect sense anyway, that's probably what LeVar attached himself to. The only thing that really sticks out to me is I really thought that the Thunder had drafted well in recent years, and I thought they had made a lot of really good moves. I honestly liked the Oladipo move last year. Ibaka was signed for a lot more money than I thought.
Yeah, they traded him.
But for them to get like Terrence Ferguson, I was not real thrilled with kind of what they're putting together. And maybe they'll prove me wrong, that I had to go look him up and see like, oh yeah, he was that guy that went to Europe, and I guess it was Australia.
Yeah.
But it was, something like that. Was also happy to see OG Anunoby get selected by Toronto. I think he could be an underrated point guard in the league as well. But it'll be, nothing to me screams necessarily like game changer in terms of, Tatum will be fine. I think Jackson's a solid player. But in terms of like, there's no game changing player.
How about Juwan
this year? Maybe I'm wrong, But there's no LeBron. Even the year like Wiggins came out, that you kind of thought, and you could see snippets of it at KU,
right?
That him or an Embiid could really change some things if they were both healthy and they took over. But I don't know. I never saw Lonzo Ball take over. We never saw Jason Tatum take over. Josh Jackson had some really good games and was a really solid player. But did we ever see him just drop 40? No.
I think he's got that capability, but I think it would take a really good situation for it, though.
That it just
and the right coach and the playbook and everything.
It just seems like when I look at like the Bam Adebayos, at 14 or the Justin Pattons at 16, they're just as good at picks as the top 10. I don't know.
How about not seeing Jawan Evans get drafted?
Again, you're barking up the wrong tree, homie.
Yeah.
Where is he from? He sounds familiar.
Jawan Evans, Oklahoma State.
Yeah. I thought he was a stud at times. Watching him at
all these guys were studs at times.
Yeah.
I thought Swanigan was a little low.
I liked seeing Monte Morris get drafted.
Yeah.
Solid move by the Nuggets.
Right.
And there you go. He'll be good.
And your boy Wesley Iwundu.
Yeah.
So magical, am I right?
I did not expect Iwundu to get drafted, and I was really kind of really not that hyped up on everybody saying, "Oh, he could be a first-round pick, possibly."
Right.
No. You're not doing your homework correctly. Okay, Iwundu is going to be a role player.
I'm on the board with an NBA draft pick. Yeah, that's Bruce Weber for you. I'm telling you. Yeah.
I play hard. We kick their butt again. We just they got to.
Yeah. Stop with the excuses there, Brucey boy. Shut up.
Kind of sad for all K-State fans that Iwundu is now like the fourth player to be drafted in the last 30-plus years. Beasley, Walker. Cartier Martin, I don't think was drafted, but he has played in the pros for quite a while.
Yeah.
And then you got, then of course you think of, Poland should have got drafted. He's kind of in that same situation as Frank Mason, short.
Right.
Clemente, I'm still mad about that. Clemente was amazing at K-State. He could have been a good floor general in the NBA.
K-State's a lot different than the NBA, homie.
I know that, but still, they were good.
Right.
But Iwundu's going to be a solid role player for the Magic, or if he goes elsewhere.
Right.
I can't see him being with Orlando for quite a while. I don't. And that's not because of him. It's because of them.
The Magic, yeah.
Orlando, they blow.
Mm-hmm.
There's no Magic there in Orlando, so.
I don't believe in Magic there.
But they're sponsored by Disney.
No, but
Disney, yes.
Yeah, and are you okay with teams putting their brand names on the jersey?
Of course he is.
I don't really care.
Okay, that's the other.
I mean, it's much. If you're gonna honestly, if one league were to do it, I'm not surprised it's the NBA.
If you're gonna do something, put the NBA logo back,
right
here,
right, yeah.
Or as the Heat did, right here.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, it's something where I'm not saying that they should or shouldn't. It's just it's something that I hope doesn't necessarily get normalized. I don't think we'll see it on baseball. I don't think we'll see it on the NFL.
If you're going to see it in baseball, it's when they do the play ball.
Yeah, the stupid MLB.
Well, right, but
I hate that patch.
And that's something different. That's an initiative for. I mean, that's just as dumb as all of the pregame, And I shouldn't say that because it's half my business, but they all of the pink stuff that the NFL used to do, all the veteran stuff that people buy, and hardly any of it actually goes to the charity. And, people are doing more of that stuff. I mean, we're seeing more of that in MLB, and you could almost argue that that's just as bad as advertisements.
Right.
Now, I'm, of course, wearing a 4th of July cap right now. Yeah. So some of those I think are okay. It just depends on, I don't wear the camo ones because I didn't serve in the military. So it's awkward for me to wear camo. I am an American, so I wear the American flag. I don't know. Some of those feel, do better for me. But I'm not going to go and rush out. Oh my God, got to buy my dad a Father's Day cap. I don't know. We just buy him a Cardinals cap,
Right? Yeah.
or if I'm for my father-in-law, I'd buy him a Royals cap.
Right.
But I don't know. It's something that I'm not surprised the NBA is doing. The NBA has more of a crowd that is more comfortable with ads on jerseys. It's more of that soccer crowd, that younger crowd, and honestly, it's NBA's business. They can make money doing it, and that's clearly what they're doing. It's going to be weird, but we're going to get used to it.
Yeah, I understand it.
It's not my favorite, but
it's a little irritating.
If Disney wanted to give me $1 million to put
it's a little irritating to me, but it's not kind of like what you're saying. It's not that big of a deal.
It just depends on it's how much are you going to let it irk you, and that's something for every fan has to go through that, and yes, it will irk some people. But it's just a matter of how do you combat it? like that's what I want to know is
it's already irked Patrick already.
Is how do you combat it with it's the same thing as the stadiums. How do we get these rich billionaires to pay for their own stadiums when they're perfectly fine just picking up and leaving? It's a catch-22 where it's like, fine, if you don't want to deal with ads on your jerseys, then you've got to pay more for ticket prices. Then you've got to pay more for season tickets, for apparel. And not that that's the way that business should be run, but if Dan Gilbert or whoever can make more money, they're going to try to do it.
I'm telling you, I can't.
They're going to build that wall, and they're going to make you pay for it.
Oh, boy.
Oh, come on, that's funny.
Okay. Yeah, that's never going to happen.
I didn't even have to tweet about that.
I know, but God, I just literally was like, oh, boy, here we go.
And for the record, that was just a sports analogy. That was not in any way.
But it still deserves another.
Yeah.
That's because I'm funny.
You are.
Yeah.
I have my moments.
We all have our moments.
And I'm punny, but no.
So
that's why we get along.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
You know what else is a good thing? To talk about why John Dorsey is gone.
Yeah. So let's dig into that.
I don't know. I like this ad discussion. It's all going to look like soccer jerseys in 3 years. Everything. Everything.
Or NASCAR. Look at all this stuff NASCAR. All the.
See, look how easy it is for rednecks to fall into that trap.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's only a matter of time before it went to other sports.
Stupid NASCAR. It's not even a sport. Oh, man, they took another left turn. Oh, man, it's another left turn. I love
Not okay.
I know, right?
So let's talk Chiefs. We can obviously rule out with one speculation. It had nothing to do with Mahomes, why Dorsey left. Because like we said earlier, like what I said, as a GM, head coach, and as the owner, you're not going to make that move. You're not going to move up 17 spots of where you're projected to be in the draft to make that kind of move. You're not on board.
And it has nothing to do with Wisconsin cheese.
So, Jim, are you
Actually, it might. I mean, their cheese is really good.
But I'm going to say the first.
Not that the cheese isn't all right here.
I think Dorsey's been really itching to going back to Green Bay. I think he's been waiting to see if Ron Wolf's going to
Ted Thompson.
Ted Thompson, excuse me, is going to retire as GM of the Packers, and he's going to go back home to where he was at first. So I think that's probably the first thing. But then let's think about there's been all kinds of speculation that maybe Reed and Dorsey are kind of tired of one another. Maybe they didn't see eye to eye on certain things. You think of the whole entire Macklin situation. There's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, who knows what's going on in the Hunt lair? I mean,
would you, Jim? Wouldn't you think the whole entire Macklin situation could have something to do with?
No, I think that. Well, and I think part of that was the cap person who got fired.
Yes.
I do think part of that was. Yeah, I'm sure there's a list every year of players where it's like, hey, if we need money, this is the order we cut people, and it just must have gotten down to Macklin because they weren't gonna. You picked up, Dee Ford isn't a cuttable player. Alex Smith isn't a cuttable player yet. You look at the guys who you have there wasn't many that were expendable. Certainly next year, Macklin goes on that list, or not Macklin, Smith goes on that list as a potential cuttable player because you might see what you have in Mahomes. Now, if you can keep Smith for the duration of his deal, then maybe Mahomes gets an Aaron Rodgers type treatment where you get him 2 to 3 years. And I think that would be the ideal scenario, but
see, it's not that type of deal.
That may not happen.
In Mahomes, I mean, as I've said before, to you, Patrick, or I've said it on social media, I've said on this show, I mean, whatever. Mahomes is too smart of a guy, and he wants to learn. Now maybe I think Seren Petro pointed this out.
Aaron Rodgers boat raced an astronaut on Jeopardy. I don't think it's about smarts. I think it's just about when you're ready to put it together.
It was either Petro or Kevin.
That was
Keatsman.
A while ago. They asked Olivia Munn to be on. Wait, are you talking about Jeopardy, or are we talking about?
I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers boat racing an astronaut.
Oh yeah, there was a whole Sports Illustrated article about it too.
Really?
That they had asked Olivia. It was the Celebrity Jeopardy, and they had asked Olivia Munn back when they were dating, and Olivia couldn't do it. So Aaron was like, "Oh, I want to do it," and he had found out who his competitors were going to be. And, read a book on the astronaut and asked him all about thermodynamics and the physics of space. And that the funniest part was all through the Sports Illustrated article, it basically talked about how everyone who knew Aaron Rodgers just basically said the same thing. And they said, oh, that poor astronaut, he's going to lose on national TV.
Oh, man.
And Aaron Rodgers, they said he just dominated. He knew everything. That he's a smart person. I mean, Cal Berkeley's not an easy place to get into, even if you are a fantastic athlete as he was, but he's one of those guys. And again, not that Mahomes isn't. I'm just saying that it's one of those where, you might be a smarter person if you go to college an extra year. You might also drink and party a lot more, but you might retain a little bit of that information rather than just going to college for 1 year and then just going, well, here's your career, son. Let's get weird.
So on Twitter, I posted another fan poll question. How is the announcement of John Dorsey leaving the Chiefs viewed? Is it smart, dumb, typical Chiefs, or whatever? What do you guys think?
Typical Chiefs. I tell you this so often. It's like what the Hunts have stood for since winning Super Bowl IV. They want their yes men. Now Jack Stedman, who was a longtime general manager.
Yeah, that's what Jack Harry tweeted. I saw a tweet from Jack Harry saying this is about as big of a move or about as typical or dumb a move since Jack Stedman.
Yeah, Jack Stedman was around for the first nearly 30 years of the franchise, or in the first 30 years that the franchise was here in KC as general manager. I mean, things just felt different, in the words of Hank Stram, after winning Super Bowl IV in January of 1970. And so ever since then, the Hunts want their loyal yes men. To me, it's typical Hunt modus operandi or MO. It's
this is what Jack said. He said, biggest power grab at Arrowhead since Jack Stedman ran off Hank Stram. It's clear, Big Red. Let's see.
Yeah, and that was because Lamar Hunt told him to do so, and that's where the famous exchange that you and I know about that people really don't pay attention to is, Hank Stram leveled the curse on the Chiefs. He said, they're not going to go back
until I wear Chiefs red again. This team will not do a whole lot.
Not go to the Super Bowl or win one, and it hasn't. You have to think about it. So
I know it's not. I mean, I get where people come from. It's not good to think about that on your own team, but it's the reality.
Yeah,
it's where it all sits, and
I feel the same way with the Cardinals. People are like, it's not Matheny's fault. Mazzei, DeWitt. I'm like, it all starts with the DeWitts. I'm telling you, it's at the very top. Not just in sports too. I'll just leave it at that. Not just in sports as well. It goes up to the very top.
Yep.
And it comes down.
So the results of that question, as I get back to my page, 50% typical Chiefs, 38% dumb, 13% smart, and nobody voted for whatever.
How can you?
I think when you look at it, I mean, as much as we can talk about it being a power grab and things like that, what do the Hunts have to gain by grabbing more power? I mean, clearly, like GMs don't go
because they already have all the power.
They don't go into this business going
They've
like,
had
well,
the power since Lamar took over,
right?
Or found the team,
founded it.
But that's what I'm saying is like it's pointless for an owner to go into it like that because they can't relinquish any power. The team is theirs,
right?
I mean, they are the emperor, they are the king, or whatever you want to, the royal family, first family of whatever team that it is. For Clark Hunt to just say, well, you know, I want people to agree with me. If that was the case, Clark Hunt would be Jerry Jones. And that's not the case. Clark Hunt has never been a personnel guy, and I think he has no reason to be one.
And thank goodness he's not like Jerry Jones.
Right.
Well, right. That's what I'm saying is like those who have done it, apart from this past year where Dak Prescott just happened to get a DUI and fall to the third round, if that doesn't happen, sure, the Cowboys are still better, but maybe John Kitna is starting for the Cowboys. You know, we don't know where Dak Prescott ends up or whatever happens. It just happened that lightning struck twice for the Cowboys, and those were two positions of great need for them.
Yeah.
That's what's happened. And of course, for every great decision that we can attribute to Dorsey, and I'm not saying that Dorsey has been a bad GM, but I'm saying, has he been a perfect GM? No. For every Marcus Peters, there's been a Dwayne Bowe contract. For every...
That's the biggest contract,
you know,
dud that the Chiefs...
Where we can...
In recent memory.
Where we can complain about, or we can say that Eric Fisher had a decent contract extension, but we could also say that he had the number one pick, and Eric Fisher's the best they got.
But then think of, because I think Seren touched base on this on the program, look at everybody else in that draft class now, of how bad they are. So now that deal looks like it's actually decent.
Well, right, and that's what I'm saying is that it's decent, but you never want to have the number one pick and come away saying, oh, he's decent.
Right. He needs to be a Hall of Famer.
And sure, it doesn't work like that, but that doesn't mean that you can't hold the GM responsible, or that you can't not hold the GM responsible for that.
Right.
So, and again, it's not something where Dorsey had his particular style. He had his boring Green Bay style, which works really well for a lot of teams. It's worked really well for Green Bay for a while. It's working really well for the Seahawks right now, and it worked pretty darn well for the Chiefs. But were there things that could have been better? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And were
better managing of the salary cap.
Right. And things like that the Chiefs never seem to be in a good position with the salary cap. Yeah. Eventually that probably goes on whoever Dorsey hired to be his salary cap person. And that also falls on him.
Yeah.
Where that's what and I'm not saying that, you know, doom and gloom is the Chiefs right now. And sure, I liked John Dorsey as well. I thought he was a decent football mind. I thought he was a smart person. I thought he was a decent talent evaluator. Could he figure out a cap? Probably not. But he never really, he always found a way to get it done. However, he's kind of like that guy who's in fashion, or who, like, you have a trend that hits, right? Like jean shorts are popular again for guys,
aka jorts.
They're in style again now.
Yeah.
So you have the people who are totally hip like us, who are going to be wearing jorts right away, and then you're going to have that guy 3 years down the line who picks them up on sale and is like, like catching it on the tail end of it, but he still thinks that he's still think that he's on trend. That's John Dorsey. He's never going to do it right away, but he's going to eventually figure it out and kind of take credit for being part of that trend. So it still looks like he was a part of it. He just did it way too late. That's what happened with Barry. That's what happened with the contract extension with Houston. And those type of deals ended up being cap killers for the Chiefs. You couldn't add enough people. You couldn't bring in the right people.
You couldn't extend Barry a year before.
Right. And sure, who knows what would have worked out? Who knows if betting against those players wouldn't have propelled them to the seasons that propelled them to their deals.
Sure.
But hindsight is 20/20. And also every GM their jobs are all,
let's don't forget,
compared that way.
How they screwed up the entire injury situation with Justin Houston.
Yes.
That too, yeah.
That could fall on Dorsey.
That could.
Although that's really on the
probably more on the player.
medical
team.
Medical staff of the Chiefs. But Dorsey, I'm sure, was there pretty often trying to check up and see how he was doing and all that and getting all the feedback. And another thing with Dorsey, too, I was never really that impressed when he would actually speak. It didn't seem like when he'd be telling you something like he was really knowing what he was talking about.
Yeah.
That was probably one of my just very few, pitfalls with Dorsey. But I thought overall he was a solid. I mean, sure, he was better than Pioli and Carl Pearson, and I'm praying, knock on wood, that Chiefs don't end up getting someone like him, which I don't think they will. Even though I've gone on and you have already told me that wouldn't be surprising if the Chiefs go for another yes man, which it's very possible. But
right,
I want to think this franchise.
Who's he saying yes to? That's what I want to know. There is no dictatorship with the Chiefs.
You toe the company line.
But what line?
Profit over product. We should know this, Jim, about the DeWitts.
I'm sorry that the Cardinals spent the second most money in the offseason.
The complacent line.
I don't know, and I will fight you on that on the Cardinals too. But
we're gonna definitely talk some Cardinals here coming up.
No, because if you don't win, you don't make money. That's what happened. Is the Chiefs stunk, had the first overall pick, and since then have gone to the playoffs multiple times in a row.
But now they need to kind of get over the hump, though. I mean, 43 wins, that's pretty good. I mean,
cool.
Andy Reid, the first coach to do that.
One team out of 30 wins the Super Bowl every year.
I know. I mean, but the Chiefs, almost a half century, though. I mean, when do you finally hold the top people accountable for something like this?
Well, let's be grateful for one thing. They finally took a stupid quarterback.
Yes.
Okay, that's a start, okay? Because for almost past a quarter of a century, the Chiefs did not do that. They finally did it.
Yeah, it's like they look at they took Todd Blackledge and they're like, oh,
you know what?
Happen.
Be grateful. If it was still Carl Pearson or Pioli today, they would have said, no way in heck we're taking a quarterback.
No way, Jose. That wouldn't happen.
We're going to stick with our veteran type of leader. We'll get it done through the defense, which, okay, yeah, for a while under Carl, yeah, we got it done defensively, but we couldn't really get it done offensively.
You got Hall of Fame type of talent on defense.
That really stunk. The defense really fell apart.
And the offense started to come for a little bit, and then it went back down.
And then Pioli, which is a total idiot, he just didn't really know what he was doing, and he's lucky he's in a good spot now in hot Atlanta,
Yeah.
New stadium, new everything coming there. But let's take a break, though, as we're going to finally get to the last segment of this show today, the last bonus segment here on the podcast.
Saving the best for last.
NL Central Talk. I
was
going to make sure we would fit that in when I had the changes made because of all the big breaking news from the last couple of days with the Chiefs. I had to fit that in today, so we'll definitely talk some Cardinals, Brewers, Pirates. Oh, yeah, not the Purples, not the Blues, but the Reds.
Yeah. So no Cubs talk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah, the
AAA.
Yeah, those
bound.
The little bears.
AKA
that walk around with their mother.
Yeah.
AKA
Cubs,
AKA the ones that
clearly we know now they were just towing the company line for 108 years.
Here's the only Cubs news. Kyle Schwarber sent down to AAA. There you go. There's the Cubs news.
They never tried to win. They never bought high profile free agents. And it just never worked out for 108 years.
Joe Madden, the biggest writer in the universe of baseball.
Because that's how it works.
Hence why they decided to market Wrigley Field instead of the team, which was horrific.
Yeah, I don't think they do that anymore.
Well, not now, but they did for a long time.
They did for a while.
All right, so let's take a break here as we are about 30 minutes. Pretty good. We've been going for quite a while, period, this whole show.
We haven't seen our family in 2 weeks, Justin. I need to go home.
See you guys, I'm going home.
Do your trademark.
See you guys, I'm going home.
All right, but we will be heading home after this segment. Don't you worry. This is Radioactive Sports now, just on SoundCloud.com.
You've been listening to Radioactive Sports on SoundCloud.com.
We are back now for the final segment here on Radioactive Sports. Of course, now just on SoundCloud.com. I've been getting teased by these two guys here during break. I don't have 15 podcasts, by the way, Jim. I know I do post.
I'm sorry, 13.
I'm sorry, 10.
Yeah.
It's got more than 10.
Oh, that's right.
Are we counting YouTube?
Might as well.
YouTube, Twitter, Facebook,
SoundCloud.
I mean, good Lord, man. You slide into my DMs more than anybody I know. I appreciate it, though. I love the attention.
And that's the whole point why I do
exactly.
so more attention.
I think I'm here every 2 weeks.
Oh,
which, by the way, for those who haven't seen my post on Facebook yet, who wants to sponsor my show, feel free to respond.
Yeah, otherwise it's going to be called the Grundy County Auction Radioactive Sports.
Such a thing as Grundy County?
Yeah, Grundy County, Iowa. Dude, there's a song about it.
I didn't hear this.
You know that I went down to the Grundy County auction. That lady in the second row,
Michael
she's an 8,
Montgomery.
she's a 9, she's a 10, I know. She's got ruby red lips, blonde hair,
I
blue
do.
eyes.
John Michael Montgomery.
I don't listen to country. Really.
John Michael.
It's not really country. It's more like one of those
Yeah, it
awkward
is.
songs. Well, it's country, but
John
it's,
Michael Montgomery.
I know that. It's the second song they played at my wedding. I'm just saying, like, it's they
Wait,
don't
your
play
wedding?
it at like country like concerts. They play it at like those hokey dances that everyone has,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
you've got to like you hold your date like
The hoedown
3
dance.
feet away. Can't
Yeah, when you go down to Arkansas for the hoedown.
Now, hey, that's a different kind of Southern music.
Yeah.
This is
I
like
know.
Northern
I should
country
know.
music.
I go down to Beaver Lake every summer. and
Are you related to the person
we've
of
gone-
Grundy
I am
County?
not. No.
Okay, all right. I was like,
There's a few Grundys. The one I get there was a kid drafted out of somewhere in the state of Illinois. That's Jared Grundy, and he apparently could throw 97 miles an hour, and everyone kept asking me like, "Oh, is that same Grundy?" I'm like, "Dude, I wish."
I still need to find out if I'm related to John S. Pemberton,
the founder of
Coca-Cola.
Yeah, you got to sue for that, man.
Yeah,
And you still have a drink.
Even if you're wrong, just try.
yeah. I mean, look at go to genealogy.com or whatever.
Nice shot.
Lonzo.
Kobe. No, Kobe's better. Kobe.
Everyone's all Curry. Like, that's going to be the thing. Like, when our
Kobe
kids grow up,
is better.
it's gonna
Travis
be like,
Kelce.
Curry.
Oh, jeez. Oh, dude, you just brought it down.
I just wanted to do that.
Oh, yeah, that's
Hilarious.
Yeah, it's got to be the arrow. It can't
The
be like
Fernando
the
Rodney.
ball.
Fernando Rodney, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta love the arrow.
Fernando Rodney used to pitch in the National League.
And he
Everybody
also,
used to pitch
And
in
he
the
also
National
one
League.
time went back in the very back of the Coors Field bullpen and just sat there and relaxed and fell asleep.
And then we that team's in the Western Division of the National League. Let's slide over to the Central Division, shall we?
Just about as bad as the AL Central.
Just as bad? Really?
See, I
You're gonna come to me with that bullcrap?
I knew. See, that's why I said earlier. I said YouTube would have different thoughts about that. So go ahead.
Well, one of these divisions has the current World Series champions, a team that would be better in spite of its manager and the fact that they get thrown
That
out
he
at third all the
whines and
time.
complains all the time.
They have a team that can hit the cover off the ball but cannot pitch. They have a team who's being led by a guy who was the MVP in Korea for 3 years. And then you have a division where the Royals are under 500 and in second place.
Third place.
Third place. Whatever. Same thing.
They will be in second before long because the Twins suck.
Yeah. I will say that the NL Central
Dude,
is
come
better.
on. You have to finally jump on the I'm going to call it the sucky, Twinkie bandwagon.
Twinkies are good.
Especially when they're fried.
It's too much filling. I want more cake.
That's why you go for red velvet.
Exactly.
Have you ever had red velvet, Patrick?
Yes, I have. And
okay, good. Good.
And it's chocolate for sophisticated people.
For the upper class, no.
No, but
you need cake mix and a Diet Coke.
No, but
seriously.
But seriously, Royals will be in second place before long. But let's stick with the NL Central. Twins do suck. And so does the NL Central.
Because this is a completely objective podcast.
Can the Cardinals somehow? Can they just sneak in?
Until Mike Matheny and his merry band of idiots is gone from the dugouts.
You've said that to me so many times now, I've lost track.
I thought the merry band of idiots would have gotten better, but I don't know. The more...
Yeah,
the more that the Cardinals keep running into outs, the more I'm thinking it's possibly the players.
You started out 3-9, then you caught fire, got into first place, but then it's just been...
I mean, yeah, players got to execute. I get that, but when you're put in positions to fail constantly, time and again, I mean, you got to start thinking. These guys don't want to play for this ball club. It's written all over their faces. They're half buttoning it, if you will, like
going through the emotions.
Yeah, they're the emotions. Yeah, and they're not showing that emotion that Tommy Pham has done so nicely. Like he's
or hodgepodging.
Yeah, I mean,
like what Overland Park does with all the construction.
Yeah.
Oh, let's just do one side. Let's re-smooth this side of the road. No, let's don't do the other half. Overland Park sucks at that.
I know.
Just to point it out.
I'm
not afraid to say that.
I know. I'm not afraid to say that I go to Busch Stadium this Sunday and Monday and come back. I won't be surprised if there's 2 losses.
I was just gonna say that 0-2.
Yeah, but I mean, but I'm hoping somehow, some way that the guys will win in spite of 22.
I think it's a matter of the fact that as much money as they've spent this year and what they thought they had internally, they thought Matt Carpenter was going to be, you get rid of a Pujols guy, but you have a Matt Holliday. You have a team leader, a proven team leader. Matt Holliday goes to the Yankees. They thought that Matt Carpenter was going to step up. They thought that Johnny Peralta was going to have a veteran's presence in the clubhouse. They bring in a guy like Dexter Fowler who has a lot of leadership qualities, but he's the fun guy.
Yeah,
he's your good cop in the locker room. He's not your, all right, guys, let's go get it. Like Jason Hayward was apparently for the 2016 Cubs. They expected some guy to step up. The problem is the guy who stepped up was originally thought to be your 4th outfielder in Tommy Pham.
And sent down to the minors.
So you got to go get that guy because one ain't happening. Yeah. And as much as Tommy Pham is playing more, even today with Dexter Fowler being back, the original yesterday, the original lineup had Dexter Fowler in center field and no Pham. And he has been your best hitter for the past 2 months.
Hence, leader of men manifesto, Matheny.
So if you have to get
old Ned Yost 2.0, as I love to call him,
they just need to find. And Matt Carpenter was fine, but he's a number 2. He's your role player. He
decided to go try to hit 25, 30 homers instead of raking for 50+ doubles. I mean, that's when everything changed. That's what I hate about John Mabry. He never did anything worth the crap in the majors except hit from the cycle one time.
But that's fine. It's usually those who stink that are the best coaches. The problem was Mabry was too good for that. He wasn't terrible. You got to be a terrible player to be a good coach. That's why La Russa was a great coach.
Great manager. And then Herzog, Torrey was pretty good, actually.
Well, then why doesn't Ned Yost seem a lot better? He was a terrible player.
I mean,
16 career home runs, 84 RBIs, and a .216 batting average as a catcher or backup catcher for the Brewers, Rangers, and Expos.
I don't know.
With a really
it's a correlation, not a causation, Justin. Correlation does not equal causation.
What should I do?
Now remember,
should I take my belt off and spank him?
There are
yell at him, scream at him.
There are smart players who are not good enough to play. There are also dumb players who are not good enough to play. And I think Ned Yost is closer to the latter than the former.
Lots of concussions for the leader of men. I will say that right now.
There's a lot of there's a lot of Ned Yost and Matheny, and there's a lot of Matheny and Ned Yost.
Yeah,
they're joined to the hip.
Exactly, and I feel like people don't want to look into this. His concussions, like.
Could you imagine if they were both on the same staff for one of those teams, Royals or Cardinals?
I don't think that. See, I'm not in the concussion thing. I think it's just a matter of his style of play, and the style of play when he was a Cardinal is so much different than the style of play that baseball plays now. He still played in a time where bunting wasn't terrible and stealing wasn't terrible. And,
it's not terrible, but it's like what you said weeks ago when you were on here, Jim. It's how they approach it, like when they do it.
Yeah, and for me, bunting is fine when you got a whitey ball type of the roster.
I watched. I think it was.
They're not built for that. That's the problem.
That's what it needs to be built.
Tommy Pham, I think on one occasion he's on first base. I watched him he's out there daydreaming and he gets picked off.
That's like
it's those type of moments where you just like, yeah, you don't
base running misadventures by the St. Louis Cardinals. I can guarantee it. Yeah. Firing Chris Maloney, or reassigning him, into the organization. Like, there's so much disconnect and so much, so many problems. People want to. I know, Jim.
Well, the problem is by the time they get to the pros, your fundamentals are done. Like you're the player you are when you get there. That sure they can fine tune some things when you get to AAA and AA, but when you're in rookie ball, when you're in short season, that's where you get your fundamentals. That's where you learn when to hold up or when to push it, when not to push it. Then you get, Matt Carpenter's never been a good base runner.
No.
It's just this year he has taken it upon himself to force said issue of base running.
To be stupidly aggressive.
So now he's being stupidly aggressive. Dexter Fowler is very fast. Dexter Fowler can get away with it.
Right.
Because Matt Carpenter sees Dexter Fowler as a leader on this team and thinks, I need to be a leader as well. That means in that same play, he's going to get his butt thrown out at third.
Cardinals should make a movie edition of like Dumb and Dumber, base running edition.
And then you see Steven Biscotti going off and doing those things. It's like, oh my God.
You're slow. Stay at second.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll never forget. We were up here watching the Cardinals. I forget who they were playing, but Carpenter tries to stretch a double to a triple.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
I will never forget that.
Yeah, we were over in the A10 room. I literally was.
I'm over here, and I'm just hearing you going.
And you still score on a single.
I'm not going to repeat what you were saying, but you just went berserk. Not like today when we were talking about fanside.com, but you were going berserk.
It was nearly that much.
It was. But I can understand how you felt. That's idiotic. That's just you saying, man, I really don't deserve to be a good player. Man, I really, really am trying to screw up this.
And part of me is like, wait a second, is Matheny trying to get fired? Are these guys trying to help him get fired?
Is this team quitting on Matheny?
Yeah, well, it already has. I mean, it's clear and abundant as day last year and now this season.
It was kind of like, let's go back to last year with as I kind of switch over to college basketball, but like Kansas State, there were signs that maybe the team quit on Bruce Weber, but they kind of got on a run. So maybe
you can't play the Phillies every single game of the season.
No, but yeah, you lost 2 out of 3 to the Phillies.
No, we won.
They won 2 of 3.
They did?
1, 2, 3.
They came back in 2 of the games.
Yeah, and we really should have lost 3 of 6. But
they lost 5-1 on the last game.
Yes, on Thursday. Yes.
Okay. So.
But that's what it goes back to is you need, certainly if you have the players and, sure, K-State had a decent team. They had a tournament level team, but they didn't have anyone on that roster maybe outside of Iwundu going off that was going to change that team. You look at this is essentially the same team that the Cardinals had last year apart from Dexter Fowler.
And the year before.
And the year before they had Holiday.
Right.
Better Holiday.
Well,
and last year they had Holiday too.
They had Peralta. They had
and relying on excellent pitching.
He had a younger
Martinez.
Peralta, but they Martinez is new for this year.
Yeah.
Carlos Martinez?
Or
Jose
Martinez.
I'm talking about Carlos.
Right.
Carlos has been around since
C-Mart.
13. Now you got J Mart.
But you had a Matt Carpenter, or you had a Matt Holliday. You had a leader on that team. Last year, we saw that transition where they were hoping other players would step up and nothing happened. And that they thought, okay, maybe just another year changes that. We know what kind of team the Cardinals are. With this current team, they are a fringe playoff team, a team that's going to lose games on stupid mistakes, and a team that isn't going to win a World Series. They need a big bopper bat. They need another shutdown reliever, and you need to get Alex Reyes healthy.
Right.
And part of that is if Colton Wong is healthy, if Alex Reyes is healthy, and you spend that money, and I love Dexter Fowler. I love him. But if you spend that money on a first baseman, and I'm not suggesting you could have gotten Edwin Encarnacion or Mark Trumbo. I didn't think those two fit with what the Cardinals needed.
Let's just finish in second here with every single free agent out there.
Well, but when you look at it, and I think you see with like Derek Gould, the Cardinals did everything they could to match the Cubs' offer on Jason Hayward. Just the fact of the matter, he wanted to be a Cub. You're not going to change that guy's mind. In terms of David Price, the Cardinals clearly don't need pitching, or at least starting pitching. And sure, Boston just gave him more money, and he's been hurt for 2 years. You look at the players they've missed out on, thankfully they've been lucky enough. Now, I'm not saying they need to go get Harper, but they went
Machado.
out and they got, and that'll be tough because you're going to fight with Miami over that. Miami has stupid amounts of money, and they're going to give it all to one player. Right. Now, I don't think that, and I think the Cardinals could roll out the red carpet for Machado, but I think that that'll be interesting to see. I think he'll be their top option, but who knows?
Yeah, I still believe, though, that, you got so much money, and yet you don't want to spend it. Plus, on top of that,
they spent it. They spent more money this past season, but the problem is the Cardinals spend their money in a non-sexy way. They spend it on international signings. They spend it on guys they want to keep around. Colton Wong was a good signing.
Yeah,
Stephen Piscotty is going to be a cornerstone.
They've spent their money in a wrong way.
Right.
I don't think so.
It's
Brett Cecil, yeah, okay, that's rough.
Cecil is a disaster.
He's been better the last two games, but yes, the problem is the pitching market sucks.
Yeah,
you're gonna overpay for relievers.
Oh no, you could have gotten Felice. Look at the Royals.
Yeah,
they just got Felice, and he could be.
I tell you what. Yeah, the only thing to me that
Felice
would
was
get
terrible.
A good.
He could be good for the Royals, though.
He might. He might not be.
The only way that Matheny, Mabry, etc. will finally be shown the door, and will they like to, is if the Cards finish in dead last and have maybe 100 losses plus. And that's the thing that sucks to me is that DeWitt, all he cares about.
The Cardinals could not care and still win 70 games.
And yet,
that's the thing. They're not going to lose 100 games just with the players they have. They just don't have. They're just not going over the hump with the current players they have. They are a solid middle of the division team.
I know, but I want to be. I want the Whitey Ball style. I want the guys who you have the dimensions of Busch Stadium going back to the 80s in the Busch Memorial Stadium, guy like Whitey Herzog, coaching staff like that, George Kissel type of ball, all of that. And this organization
that doesn't exist anymore.
It doesn't exist because
their field turf there's no field turf.
Well, yeah, but then everybody's obsessed with the home run now, and I'm tired of it.
That's because the Reds can hit them and we can't.
Oh God!
Everyone has been fine with Busch Stadium hitting home runs at home.
Stupid bandbox.
And 2015, the Cardinals had record numbers of home runs, and it was fine.
Cool.
They won 100 games.
Okay. I want triples and doubles and steals, man.
So just to wrap it up,
you want the Royals.
I want the Cardinals from 1926 to 1987.
That doesn't exist.
But the latest version is the Royals from 14 and 15.
Right.
That's the only version you
want to rely on that much devil magic?
And the Royals, even right now, are kind of showing it a little bit. Right now, Royals are kind of showing what they were in 14 and 15.
Yeah.
Still under 500, bro.
Right.
Yeah, but not for long. Not for long.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. All right.
If they get nothing for Hosmer, I swear, if they don't go to the playoffs this year and you get nothing for 6 players,
It will be regrettable.
Dayton Moore is going to be, that seat is going to start to heat up.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that doesn't happen.
If you don't get anything back for anybody.
Because they ain't signing any of them back.
Right.
Except Vargas.
No. He's too expensive.
What about
Vargas is your top rental this year in terms of pitcher that's not named Johnny Cueto.
True. Yeah. Okay, so the Brewers, will they keep this up?
I don't think so. I think the Cubs, it's still the Cubs division to lose. Because they're going to get hot. And they're going to buy Chris Archer. They're gonna get somebody mid-season.
They will.
That's the thing. Is the Cubs are worried about the Cardinals making a move, and the Cardinals are worried about the Cubs making a move. The problem is the move the Cubs can make is a lot easier than the moves the Cardinals can make.
Yep. All right, guys, it's been so much fun here today.
This got weird. I like this.
I love it.
I know. Why do you think I have you guys on all the time when I do?
Because we're good for you.
You just can't quit us, Justin.
No.
It's like that jingle I actually came up with myself. He hits the ball far.
Okay.
They sometimes hit cars, locaine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I kept changing those words in that Eric Clapton song.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
No, but it's been fun, guys, and I'll have you on again here in a couple of weeks, Jim and Patrick. Thanks for being on.
Of course.
Thank you.
And that's going to officially do it here on Radioactive Sports for both ESPN Kansas City and, of course, here on SoundCloud.com. And, of course, if you're checking it out on YouTube as well. So, it was fun. So we'll be back again next Saturday for another edition of Radioactive Sports for both SoundCloud.com online and, of course, on ESPN Kansas City, as I will have the co-host and producer of the show What's on Tap. That's always on every weekday from 11 to noon on ESPN 1510 AM, 99.3 FM. Rudy Salazar will be in studios live with me next Saturday, so look forward to doing that with Rudy. Otherwise, that's going to do it. Everybody, go out, enjoy your weekend, have fun. It's supposed to be another nice one. And just check back here again next Saturday as I'll be back on. So I will see you later.
Bye-bye.
Justin Pemberton.
Shoot, man. We're going to go out to barbecue at 7 o'clock tonight.
I still got to take this baby home and put it all together.
The magician.
Then I'm going to
Justin Pemberton, the
do a
secret
little bit
weapon.
more tomorrow after done running it here on ESPN 1510. So
yeah.
One of your 15 podcasts.
Yeah.
I only got one.
Not you, him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I posted everywhere.
Yeah, you're trying to
the Royals podcast, the I Hate the Chiefs podcast, the I Love the Lakers podcast, the one time I talk about hockey Pittsburgh Penguins podcast, the I love me some Bill Snyder podcast, or no, it's the Bill Snyder Family podcast,
the Bill Snyder Taco Bell Obsession podcast.
Exactly.
All right.
The Pittsburgh Steeler Admiration from Afar podcast. It's you.
All right.
Yeah, I can't believe I have so many podcasts.
Now it's just getting ridiculous.
That's where we're paid to do. Oh, wait, we're not paid at all.
Yeah, it's like I'm not paid to be here.
Another blooper going on the show. Coming a near Radioactive Sports show near you.
Let's do it.
Sarcastic laugh.
Yep.
Love it. Hate
Did you buy
it.
your Lonzo Ball jersey yet, Justin? Come on, man.
Have you?
I'm going to tell you what. Lonzo Ball.
Not buying it.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what.
Not buying it.
Gonna laugh. Houston's gonna win the World Series, and Lonzo Ball is gonna take the Lakers to the playoffs.
I'm going to tell you what.
I think you're right. No, they're pretty damn good.
There's your odds right there.
They're good.
Anything Justin says, bet on the opposite. Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl this year. Then
if that happens, I would
feel like LeVar Ball now, because anything he says, I go against it, or we all should go against it. Now you're saying anything I say,
maybe LeVar Ball's a prophet.
The opposite.
Or he was paid by my.
I'm gonna tell you what.
I feel like him now.
You've been listening to Radioactive Sports on SoundCloud.com.
Bye-bye.